Rodots.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that I am no longer known as promoting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's all about sorcerer selling now. Why? Look at this gameplay of me invading another player's world. Pretty standard, right? But what if it could be more? My friends and I, we came up with gimmicks. We have prepared 3 trials for those who would dare invade our session. I don't normally do this, but I put chapters in this video to help navigate. Because apart from the 3 trials, I also dressed up as Reinhardt and fought Melania. Hope you like the video. Alright, positions. Positions. I gotta look like an NPC. Hold your hand like this.
There he is. Right on here, right bumper. Let him give a half up. Let him give a half up, right bumper. Go down. It's going all the way back to Liberty.
The message him is thou can climb by 4 different great treasures behold.
Are these actually...
Here, somebody watch my bag.
Are these actually...
That looks glass. Climb with more, fucker.
What are you gonna do about it, man? What are you gonna do about it? Alright, you ready? I think you can climb.
I'm not gonna be able to.
Here's the great president of the Fourth President, okay?
That's just fantastic.
Everybody's been sighted, okay?
It's been tight, bro. Go now. Wow. No fire.
The Fourth President.
Run, little man.
My brother in Christ, where are you going? I'm gonna message him. Come tarnished. Oh, yeah. You're right. You said no. I'm gonna message him about the great treasures of our voice.
As soon as you send that message to me, so I can't open that. Okay, how many messages?
I sent it. Your mail.
Alright, I'll be back.
by luxury dog food. We're so picky. This is the newest game from Lilith. I have personal experience with Lilith games. A former obsession, if you will. This is just like their newest release. It's a turn-based game. That in itself isn't revolutionary, but I like how they optimize the game for home. You can automate battles and be very hands-off and just have a very chill experience. And speaking of experience, this game's visuals and theme is just fantastic. It runs this futuristic vaporwave theme that I gotta say, I don't really see. This is a very stylish game. Now look at these characters. The characters and fighters in this game are based on gods of mythology. Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, like the versions of these gods that listen to synthwave or something. If this interests you, just use my link in the description to download the game, and you can use my bonus code to get great limited rewards.
Oh, okay. Everything is a piece. Yeah, it's $3. There we go.
That would be nice if you can't stack that kind of
Somebody should go make sure it's sick. Could be a bomb. I don't know. Is it suffering? Bitch had a 50 cal trained on him. Yeah. She's got 2 laser sights on his chest right now.
Friendly Flamestone, the fourth is pleased with your gift. We grant you passage. Come, Sonic. It's fucking awesome, dude. I love it when people play it. I bring a guest, gentlemen. The great treasure of the fourth is yours. Gotta be thoughtful before you made off with that. I grind hard. More than that. Get out! Very cool. Get out! Oh! My brother did not have the biggest one. I'll do a funny one. The roll For moonveils, you can typically side run with it. Ooh! My brother's got the sweet arrow. My man slipped to your field. I was never going to win against the Joe Fox before. It's wrong. Now we present you the 40 nations team. A choice for the
Does not realize we're players? Because he doesn't speak English. Have you chosen the answer?
No one tries to make it.
He acquired the Academy Post just up the hill. You will see the MP3. Wow. You mentioned this also.
A text message honestly might be weird. Not everybody can.
Well, I for every time.
Say pick one.
Ooh, that smells cool. I like that smell.
The guy we just fought said legends. You lot just made my day.
Yo, champ, check your shit. It's great. All three of us have different play styles too. It's like we're all six sword users.
You fine.
Hope you fix me.
Well, so can you type something up for me? I'll just copy paste and send it to him.
As you see, a choice you must make, and the cake is free.
Look at into your heart.
You're gonna have to roleplay.
Alright, you both saw that to me. On your journey, you have been driven by curiosity. Now look before you, and now with
Wait.
Is that or a fake one?
Do it again. Back. The facts of blade. Anyone I feel enjoys the serpent, you're one of these times. You know what I do? I can buy like a bunch more of these things. Then each one you like here. I add a snake until I can't see shit anymore. Genius! Whoa! Lion's claw. Oh! I passed the bigger check. Oh! Shit! Okay. Oh my lord! Wi-Fi check. All my cosplay ideas are always just like, ooh! My brother's foot. You're alive? What happened to that? Oh, he dropped it. Really too far. You lose. No fucking way! That's how that feels! Go back. I passed the intercept.
dog. Thinking about dog outfits.
That's definitely not. That's why we found the The gobblers could be formidable opponents in numbers. Why,
Yes, that's right. I watched all of all. It's really about recognizing certain anime. It's not recognizing certain animations which is scary. Restart. Try again. Yes! Big damage! Big damage! That was a good time to tell you that I'm on Journey 4, or New Game Plus 3, whatever you call it. So enemies are harder than usual. Beat the game 3 times to get all the achievements. My soul's journey is at its end. Up next is Dark Souls 3. Oh, it's the absolute unit. Oh, can I farm him to get that large horn? Here's how you fight Melania. You got a space for route, and after she whips, that's when you counter. Create space, she whips, you counter. Most importantly, remain calm. I beat her once, I can beat her again. Yeah, that's right, that's one half step. Go on, Melania, cry for a nerf. Melania is weak to heavy weapons. See that? Staggers her. Watch this. I'm weak to Melania. First, you can also bring a praising pot and wait for it to just like that. Good dragon. Good dragon. Are you done? Is your move done? Can I play? Can I play the game? Can I play the game? Not this time, Magma Worm. I learned my lessons. You gotta make sure that your back's not against the wall so that you don't get done by their running attack. This running attack. See? Now we counter attack. Are you done? Can I play? Can I play the game? Classic. Was it? You good? Who are you fighting? I think I bombed her on the head too many times. Do it! Why isn't she doing it? Her health is low enough. Do it! Do the thing! She someone do it! Fine, let me motivate her. It's fine. Let her solo me. I mean, let me solo. I think that's hard enough. She's like a bleep rock away from death. I didn't want to kill her. I just wanted to fight to see if I can still do it. I can beat any boss! Except for that deck. What other Souls games should I do? I have a PS5 that's new Demon again, Hockey Canada and like that, we're going to keep going forward. It's only a matter of time before Eddie Livingstone memories are really brought up with this, because something's got to change. And I'm kind of thinking, if both provinces kind of make up Hockey Canada, it's like you can start a roll and make it together, that might be what ends up happening. Skip it into Sophie, also sponsors who've taken their money and skip it into advertising. There's lots of money there too. And Sophie is on the whole company. So that's a lot of money that Hockey Canada has lost. And I don't know if the battle is for murder and confidence, but at this point, the corporation seems to be on in their best interest, and probably from the best interest to want to get the money out of Hockey Canada instead of 14. So, I don't know if it's going to 14, but I think it's good. We're good. So, Gary Bowl. Alright, these fans have been hired by the employers as special advisor in player development, and so they'll be working with players. But I think there's more to it than this is why I'm reporting on. He left his job with Hamilton Bulldogs for the president. So I don't think he leaves the job where he's president of GM just to take a role in the Oilers organization. Like he stands. So maybe he has to think of this GM. Maybe Ken Holland realizes this is supposed to be older GM. Is going to come at some point, and Jason Taylor is the potential candidate to be the next general manager of the Oilers. Smart hockey player, he adapted quite well. He was one of those players too who could play defense, he could play both line forward. He did a little bit of both. And obviously he's taken that intelligence and translated after his career is done. So he's for excellent team this past year. So this should be good. Also in Oilers news today, both the Sixers and Wade, but you only have room for two goaltenders, and that's Campbell and Skinner. So yeah, that's what happened. Speaking of goalies being waived, the Bruins did waive Keith Kincaid, which is not a surprise. Kincaid played well, though. And I kind of feel bad for Kincaid at this point in his career, where he does play well anytime he gets called up, but he's not viewed as an NHL-level goaltender at this point. I guess there isn't a job out there for him. We'll see whether or not he plays. I think he, in all likelihood, does, but again, I thought he looked pretty good. Kotkinen, Lettieri, and Renaud also on that list. Renaud took a couple of penalties last night. One of them was kind of not a great penalty, so I don't think these guys get picked up, although Terry does have some NHL experience. Also sent down Deshaun. I'm a little bit surprised at Deshaun, but keep in mind, and I've said this myself, players who don't require waivers to be sent down are easier to send down. So I'm a little bit surprised. I would think Deshaun is the first call up when they need another defenseman. Beecher being sent down. I thought Beecher looked good. Can't wait to see how he progresses at the AHL level. Kaiser sent down, goaltending depth there. LaSalle sent down to the AHL. Good. Needs that development time. And McLaughlin, which is a bit of a surprise, but not really. I mentioned in recent, I think it was in the review I don't think it was last night's game, I think it was the one before between Boston and New Jersey, that McLaughlin probably gets cut because he doesn't require waivers. And here we are. So he played well enough to make the team as far as I can tell, as far as I'm concerned. But again, for Boston, do you want to waive a guy like Studnicka and just watch him get lost for nothing? Or do you want to just send McLaughlin down and not have to worry about that problem right now? And I just use Studnicka as an example. There are other players that Boston couldn't possibly have waived in order to get McLaughlin on the roster. Good news for Arizona fans. Clayton Keller is going to make it, at least he's supposed to make it a preseason debut tomorrow against the Vancouver Canucks. He broke his knee on March 30th. It was an ugly injury, and thankfully he is coming back, and it sounds like he's going to go. So the Coyotes should be pretty healthy at the start of the season. Last night on the TNT broadcast, Paul Bissonnette, and I mean, he just says stuff. He's relaxed and he's saying stuff, and it's just opinion. But his opinion upset some people yesterday. I figured I might as well throw that into today since it was trending. It said 50% of the reason the women watch hockey
hockey because hockey players are good looking. Male hockey players are good looking. And I don't know the numbers. It does happen. There are young women and there are teenage girls who watch hockey that think these guys are hot. But I don't think it's that high of a number. And I say that because it's a 60-minute game. So if somebody's good looking, okay, but it's a 60-minute game, you're wearing a helmet the whole time. It's not like you get close-ups of their face and whatever. Not getting into that PG-rated show I run here. And so I really don't think it's that high of a number. Do women find hockey players good looking? Well, yes. And in Canada, it feels like there's a lot of it. But at the same time, I don't think that's the only reason. But I do. It's one of those things that I can understand on some level where he's coming from. The phrasing might have been part of the issue there, though, because again, does it happen? Well, yes. Is it 50%? No. But I've seen instances where, when they're talking about a hockey player, they're like, he's the greatest, and my answer's been, he's not. And the answer is, he's really hot, though. And I'm like, oh, I can't assail that logic so clearly. And just as a note, if someone's bought a conversation like that, you cannot say, yeah, but the player sucks, they need to trade. Don't do that. They don't take it very well. But again, I think it's the percentage. I think if you just said, yeah, there are women that watch the game just because they find hockey players attractive, I don't think anybody can really find fault with that. That's just the way it works. I also watch pro wrestling. There are definitely instances of that with wrestling where women might watch wrestling because there's really good looking guys, or guys might watch wrestling because really good looking women, or some men watch wrestling because they like good looking men, and women because they like good looking women. It's all that. It's all just six bag. Yeah, it was trending, so I thought it'd be an interesting conversation point. You guys want to know your thoughts in the comments section below. Anyway, getting back to hockey. Philadelphia, and I do enjoy throwing in these articles here and there because I think it's something different. But Philadelphia, and this is an interesting one. I've talked about this before. You have a player you bring up from the AHL. The system being coached in the AHL is the same as the system being coached in the NHL, right? And how important that is that you bring a guy up to the AHL and they step out on the ice and they already know the system, they already know the expectations of the team. John Tortorella is saying no. We're not doing that in Philadelphia. He needs to explain why, and it makes some sense. I've got the word here. The reason being this: you're an NHL coach. You are now being assigned systems from the NHL parent team of this is what we need you to coach the players to do. Those systems may not be ones that you necessarily believe in, and they may not be ones that you coach particularly well either. So you might be taking your AHL coach out of his comfort zone. Now, I've also seen people online answer that with, or you could hire an American Hockey League coach and basically in the interview process figure out you're on the same page, right? So you bring in the AHL guy and say, all right, this is what we're going to be coaching this year, this is what we're most concerned about, and him saying, yeah, I buy in, or that's not really my style, and then you can look for either a replacement or figure out a way to make it work, right? But Tortorella is saying we'll do the same system. The one issue again is if it's a guy being called up and he's there for say 2 games as a fill-in, if he struggles with systems that are in place from Tortorella, and does that hurt his future with the team? Tortorella says this is all overblown, the idea of systems, and he says it's not a difficult game. I do think at times we as sports fans make it sound a lot more complicated than what it really is. But it'll be interesting to see how things go for Philadelphia and whether or not that's borne out to be accurate. And again, we'll take a look at how players develop in the AHL level and when they come up to the NHL and see how things go. Calgary, not really surprising anybody today. Both Cody Eakin and Sonny Milano released from their tryouts. Neither of them played in last night's loss against Winnipeg, and that was seen as pretty damning. Because if guys on a tryout and you don't have them in the lineup, you're not seeing the important part of the lineup. So the problem is that Milano's play in the preseason and just his training camp weren't very good. So I think this limits his opportunities going forward. He'll probably get an AHL level contract and or maybe sign in Europe. But neither of these players picked up by the Calgary Flames, who have a pretty good depth group up front. And when Markstrom was asked about whether or not he thinks his workload should be lighter, his answer was no, it should be heavier. you are not going to find a goaltender who says, yeah, I need to.
So what I do, Cracker Barrel. Now this is
To make sure I play 40 games or maybe 45. If I play more than that, I get really tired if I play something. I'm going to find a goaltender, and always want the net. I know dating back to long over in Vancouver, he was overplayed at times. But anytime you sat him down and said, you know, you played 12 games in a row, you played 15 in the last 16, do you feel like you need a rest? His answer was always no. His answer was always, I want the net every night. If I could get 82 games a season in, I would. So it is understandable that a goaltender would feel that way. I do think with Markstrom, there are times during the season where Calgary should look at making sure he's getting the right amount of rest, because it's not about the regular season, it's about the postseason, and making sure that he's healthy is in good headspace and is able to get going on playoff time. So that's really the important part, even more than the workload during the regular season. But the workload during the regular season can decide whether that goal is ready for the playoffs. Waiver news from today as well. Jason Megna waived by Colorado, which means people watching this news saying, wow, Jason Megna is still playing. Yes, he is. And Mitch Anderson waived by the LA Kings. First round draft pick that just does not work out at the NHL level. I do not expect him to be picked. Johnny Brodzinski waived by the New York Rangers. I think if you're going to grab Johnny Brodzinski, that's the New York team, because the name Johnny Brodzinski sounds like a New York team. Seattle news, Shane Wright is, according to Ron Francis in an interview with Peter O'Brien, likely to spend the entire season in the NHL. So this is good news, I think, for Wright. Good news for Seattle as well, because it means that he's done well in the preseason and in training camp, and should be in the league for the full year right after the draft. So good on him, and good on Seattle. And it's completely ignored two other bring us a drop to Seattle. So Montreal gets a lot of flack, but not a whole lot said about Nemeth being taken by New Jersey, which might be a risk that really works out well for New Jersey. But Shane Wright's got a chip on his shoulder and could have a pretty solid rookie season. I think they'll try and with the Bears to start the season. I think they'll try and put this together at least a little bit here and there. We'll see whether or not they gel, and if they do, Seattle could be an interesting team to watch for sure. Washington news, TJ Oshie not at practice today. I haven't seen anything about how long he might be out. He left the game early last night, and as I said in the review from last night's game, it could be precaution, and this again could just be, abundance of caution given TJ Oshie's injury history, but given his history, Orlov is seen as day-to-day with a lower body injury, and that's all we have to say on that. So, Orlov is day-to-day, and it's truly day-to-day. Dallas, talking about Robert's report last night, late hours, getting signed by Dallas. I would have been up in that. I would have woke up with what happened. Roberts gets an extension. This is creation at the end of the contract. And it is a $9.2 million qualifying offer that's required by Dallas, which will be a problem by 2026. But he's only 1 year from under 50. What is quite really interesting about this is that if this is a contract signed by any team in Canada, I guarantee there will be conversations about what he doesn't want to be here long term. Smith Roberts in Dallas, so he's 1 year away from under 50. Well, I think it's pretty good marketing, but I they will have proof he doesn't want to be in Dallas. It was basically a contract that was I would think that at $9.3 million qualifying offer, I would not be surprised if Roberts played. And honestly, he's been spectacular since they debuted. I think part of it is that he was second in Calder voting on what was a shortened season, where teams were just playing against their division. So I don't think a lot of people saw Robertson that first year in the NHL. He was remarkable. And then this past season, he got even better. So that's 2 really good seasons. I'm anxious to see what he can do for Dallas this year. The team, according to Puckpedia and Cap Friendly, now has $461,000 in cap space. So if they're going to do anything else, they'd have to move money out in order to get money in. But odds are Dallas is pretty set with their.
So the last video that we made here on this YouTube channel was going over the Daily Face-Off 32 Bold Predictions article that was published earlier yesterday. And there are so many conversations in that piece that I wanted to highlight here on the channel. But for this video right here, I was kind of like, the Devils are a team that are brought up in that piece, and I wanted to talk about what it was Sarah Bailey brought up in that article, but that's not all I wanted to focus on. Because when it comes to the New Jersey Devils, there are a few other things that have been noted by hockey-related social media accounts that I do think are worth acknowledging, and as a result, we're making this video here today, just going over the team, going over one of the players on the team, talking about expectations, talking about probabilities and what they can accomplish heading into 2022-2023. So, before we go over to the player discussion that I wanted to highlight, let's go over to the Devils and their Money Puck odds. Money Puck is the website that goes out there and makes the cool graphs, talking about odds for teams going out there in the playoffs, who's going to more likely win playoff games, who's going to more likely make the playoffs or go to the finals, win the finals, and do all that stuff. There are also the game reports every single game. There is a win-o-meter, or deserve to win-o-meter, that's what it's called, where they take a look at who performs well, who has higher expected goals for, etc., and it simulates who should have won NHL games. Lo and behold, hockey is a sport where a team that probably plays the best does not win 100% of the time. So it's why sites like MyPuck go out there and try to say, okay, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning had 7 expected goals, but Igor Shesterkin stuffed them all. Meanwhile, a low-danger chance from the Rangers' blue line went in past Vasilevsky. So even though the Rangers won the game, you could say that Tampa was the better team. MoneyPuck takes a look at all the analytical stuff and puts it into a nice reader-friendly format. They covered their playoff odds yesterday, and you take a look at the team at the very bottom of the chart with a 63.3% chance of making the dance. Right there in red, it is the New Jersey Devils. Their 100% odds at making the playoffs, and the Rangers with a 48.3% chance. The Rangers are under 50%, even though they actually made the playoffs last year and made it as far as the 3rd round. For the Devils, they're a pretty interesting team because they actually haven't made the dance in quite some time. You have yourselves a pretty young team that's gotten a lot of experienced players over the years added onto their squad. It's a really nice combo of younger guys getting better and older guys that are already good getting added on too. And as a result, MoneyPuck has this team as being good enough to have a 60+% odds at making the dance. Now, this is actually kind of interesting because if we go over to the Devils subreddit, this is the post talking about the MoneyPuck odds, how the Devils have a 63.3% chance of making the playoffs. MK2VW says, hey, it's higher odds compared to the Rangers. Then you have yourselves Mustachio Log saying, yeah, the popular analytics sites can't really figure us out. The Athletic on their playoff odds has us at a 39% mark. Evolving Hockey has us at 73. Hockey Days at 36, and now MoneyPuck is at 63.3. So it is very interesting just taking a look at the divergence between NHL rankings and playoff odds, seeing how the Devils vary so much, 39 to 36 to 73% to 63. If we average everything out, let's do 39 plus 73 plus 36 plus 63.3. I think, yeah, MoneyPuck is the only one that actually has a decimal on it. And then you divide this entire number by 400, you have yourselves a 52.8% chance if you multiply everything out and combine the results. So the Devils have a little bit better of a chance of making the playoffs than your average coin toss. So that's going to be pretty interesting to take a look at as the season goes on, because obviously you have some players on this team that you're looking to see some improvement upon. You have some newer additions on the squad that you probably hope can make them a little bit better too. John Marino comes to mind. In the past few years, you got Dougie Hamilton, not to mention Andre Palat. You got Tatar from a few years ago too. So the New Jersey Devils, with all things considered, they're supposed to be pretty good. This is where we go over to our hot take. Let's go back over to that 32 Bold Predictions article published by Frank Saravelli and go over what he has to say about the New Jersey Devils and Jack Hughes. This is the 13th Bold Prediction published yesterday. The 2019 first overall pick, Jack Hughes, will vault into the 100-point club. Hughes busted out with 56 points in 49 games last year, which is a 94-point pace. But he will need to prove he can stay on the ice. He'll do that in the first year of a $64 million deal with New Jersey. Now, good or reminder to everybody, yes, Jack Hughes is indeed starting out an $8 million AAV contract in 2022-2023, which takes him until he's 30 years old. He's 21 right now, he'll be 22 at the end of the year, and the contract expires in 2030, so, or actually, no, he'll be 29, something like that. Either way, his entire prime is going to be covered by this contract pretty much, hence the $8 million price tag for a guy who's only gone out there and scored 108 points in 166 total NHL games. Now, that's kind of a funny note because he's only at 108 points, and if he goes out there and has a 100-point season, he'll double his NHL point production in the span of 1 year, taking what he did in 4 seasons worth of NHL play and applying it only in one span of 82 games. Now, the past 3 years have not been kind to Jack Hughes in terms of the games played. Sure, he had the full 56 games in 2020-2021, but the prior seasons have not been too kind. Only 49 games played last year, only 61 games played in his rookie year. So, for Jack Hughes, he has been pretty significant, I guess, when it comes to games played. And you can definitely see that last season he kind of just had everything right. When he was actually playing, he was so much more effective last year than he had been in the prior 2 seasons. And the numbers showed a 94-point pace, 56 total points in 49 games, 26 goals, 30 assists. Jack Hughes was so gosh darn dynamic, skilled, fast, and smart with the puck that when it comes to what he could be, what everybody is saying he was supposed to be back when he was drafted in 2019, when Frank Saradoki says that Hughes can reach 100 points, I go out there and I say, yeah, you know, if he does that, I'm not going to say that I'm surprised. Realistically, I don't want to go out there and place any bets that he's going to do that. Like, oh, I believe in my heart of hearts that Hughes is going to get 100 points next season. If I had to bet, I'd say probably range in the 70 to 80 point mark because 100 points is a lot of points. But if he does go out there and he plays 82 games, he gets 102 points, for example, it wouldn't be surprising. And when it comes to what an $8 million caliber player is worth, if he gets 100 points this season, let's say he gets 105 points next season, he gets 110 points, 120 points, the years after, then all of a sudden that $8 million price tag looks like an absolute steal. But hey, like, was it really realistic for a guy to go from 56 points in 21-22 to 100 points the season after? Well, the main comparable name that I've seen thrown around here once in a while was Nathan McKinnon. First overall pick back in 2013, so 6 years prior to Jack Hughes' draft, galloping around the ice, making it look effortless. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of difference there because Jack Hughes looks kind of effortless. Nathan McKinnon, he's just an absolute workhorse. You can see the guy, his gears are churning. You can see the steam coming out of his nostrils when he gets going. But when Nathan McKinnon was playing in his 4th NHL season, he had himself 52 points in 82 games played. Cool. The season after that, Nathan McKinnon exploded, getting 97 points in 74 games, a 100-point pace. Now, the Colorado Avalanche were terrible in 2016-17. They were the worst team in the league, which is why they got the 4th overall pick, Cale Makar, because they lost the draft lottery. But either way, Cale Makar was pretty good. But Nathan McKinnon went from a 50-point guy on a pretty bad team to a 97-point guy in the span of a year. You could say a 100-point guy because he was on the pace to getting 100 points if he had just played 82 games. Now, Jack Hughes is younger than McKinnon was when he accomplished that 97-point season, but who knows? The jump up to 100 points is difficult, but it has happened before to players in this sort of caliber. So for the New Jersey Devils, talk to the comments like your thoughts about Jack Hughes. Do you think he's going to get 100 points this season? If you don't think he's going to get it now, when do you think he's going to get there? Because, you know, I said if I had to place a bet right now, I wouldn't say Jack Hughes would definitively 100% get 100 points. But if I had to say, okay, what are the odds that Jack Hughes gets 100 points sometime in his career? I'd put a whole bunch of money on that because, yeah, he's so talented. Like, Quinn Hughes is probably going to get 70, 75, 80 points in his career 1 year. Jack Hughes is going to get a little bit more than that. So that's kind of my thoughts on the entire thing over here. Talk in the comments your thoughts about the Devils and their playoff odds, as well as Jack Hughes and his likelihood of getting 100 points. I hope you enjoyed this video, Trolls 99, and bye.
Welcome to the plus side. Refer to the Right, welcome home. Let me show you how to make the most amazing burger. And for me, the secret of burger is in the blend. So we've got chuck, we've got the most amazing ground beef, and we've got brisket. First things first, season it. Once you've seasoned them, combine them together. We're binding this together with a touch of egg that sticks it together, and more importantly, try to get this done the day before. Get this done the day before, set them in the fridge so they stay nice and firm. That way they don't fall apart. Get that grill piping hot. Now, this is one of my most desired burgers, one of my favourite burgers. This is excellent burger. She's actually on sale at my burger restaurant. I'm trying to order the big bagels. Now, season them. Let the meat relax a little bit. Don't take them out of the fridge ice cold, otherwise they'll be dry on the outside and raw in the middle. Grill, piping hot. A little touch of oil on the burger to start with. This is all great to make sure the seasoning. Also, roll the seasoning around the edge of the burger. You know, you can't season the burger after it's cooked, so make sure you roll that seasoning around the outside and mop up all that seasoning. Gently all the burger and then on. Find a hot spot. Normally, 2/3 of the way up. Once you put the burger on the grill, the secret is to move it as less as possible. So all you move it, all times you want to break the burger and then roll it on. Now from there, lift down. That incorporates the heat. It's a great fit on the bottom, so when we come to turn those burgers, they don't stick. How many times we've stuck burgers on the grill and wonder why it's sticking? Add the oil, quick sear, put that lid down, really important. Now, alongside the burger, we'll be toasting the buns. Why do we toast the buns? We toast the bun because there's nothing worse than a soft bun. How many times you had a burger and the bun is wet? If you toast that bun, it gets nice and crisp, but it protects the burger. So, salt, pepper, a little drizzle of oil, and lightly toast those buns. Back up, lift, crisp, in, toast those buns. What goes well with a burger? Red cheese, tomato, lettuce, a little bit of mustard mayonnaise, and then leaf here, grilled onions. Peel the onion, slice them. Lightly season them, salt and pepper. Fresh grilled onions on a burger, trust me, delicious. Easy to do, absolutely phenomenal. Now, on, season them. You can hold like that, that way it's not breaking up, and there you go. So the first one, even smoking both sides, I've got no bottom. Find the top. Bring that down. Look, and that way. Now it's going over. Wow. The flame is the flavour. Okay? We're not sweating.
You can click to buy, or you can click to save. Get smart interest when you save $200 or more in a month.
A busy grill is a delicious grill. So, you don't cook the burger and then set up the dressing. You get set up first. So while the burger's cooking, you get everything done first. It's a really important tip. Why? It's not the burger. It's too much like a roll. Look at those legs. Now look at those. Now, at my burger restaurants, the burgers with bits of butter. with that flame underneath, it sort of caramelizes the butter, puts this wonderful flavor on top. So just lightly brush a little bit of butter on there. It makes the burger so tasty. Now, when it becomes even more chefy, what can you do? Make a red wine butter, a chipotle butter. This is the basic, amazing recipe for a great burger. So for you to sort of make your own, but lightly brushing the burger with a touch of butter, 2 minutes before they come on. So exciting. Look at the colour of this burger. Don't let no shrinkage there because you've got the right amount of fat in there. With the butter, it makes it so flavorful. Right, nice and quick. Yeah. Next week. 3.5 to 4 minutes each side. Now, before they come off the grill, lightly season them on the grill from the distance. The first part of the seasoning is cooked, it's inside that burger. Last part of the seasoning, literally before you take them off, really forward. Season, close. Now to the exciting part. Here's the base, okay? That's the bun of the burger. Base. 3 tops, 3 bases. Think about how you assemble it. Think about what's in front of your hand. 30 seconds for the burger come on. We'll put my nice, beautiful, rich cheddar cheese on top. Slightly off. Look at that. Cheese on. On. Remember, the seeds underneath that, so the flavour inside is going to be incredible. First on, a little touch. Really not mayonnaise. It's the light mustard mayonnaise. On. Look at that. On. And go to the top as well. How many times have you seen guests that have opened up a burger, they're trying to put ketchup or mayonnaise? Once you've assembled the burger, you can't really break it down. You've got to put it together and eat it nice and whole. You want this oozing out the side. Now, mayonnaise on. From there, take the lettuce and just lightly snap the lettuce, break that in half, and sort of manipulate the lettuce where it sits, literally, on your bun. Snap it, break it, and form the lettuce the same shape as your bun. Snap it, break it, and gently push it down. From there, a nice slice of tomato. After that, give me an S, give me an A, give me an L, give me a T. Salt and pepper on that tomato. Lightly season it. Beautifully done. And look, from there, a touch more mayonnaise. A touch, just a touch. Now, here's where it goes up a level. Look at that cheese. That, come on, seriously, beautiful. On she goes. Number 2, on she goes. I mean, number 3, on she goes. How do we elevate it even more? How do we take that to another level? Look at these. Come on, seriously. I mean, freshly grilled onions to absolutely die for. Take them off. Caramelize the onions. And then the flavour of inside that is incredible. On. Be generous with those onions. There. I'm not a big fan of raw onion in a burger. It's too harsh, it's too acidic, and it blows the flavour of that amazing pate. And then look, from there, on, down, and hold that baby. In, on, down, and on, down, and in. And look, watch what happens. Look at this. Slice. Down. If you can't manage a whole one, take half of one. And then look. We go. Boom. And who? That is why I have one of the busiest households anywhere in America. Where you've got a neighbour like Stevie Wonder next door that can smell those delicious burgers. Him and Kanye 3 doors down. Trust me, that is a burger to die for. Bon appetit.
It's time to vacate. Time to earn up to 450 welcome WestJet dollars. Time to redeem anytime with no blackout date. Time to take the greatest of all trips. So life in the home of Sirius XM is always interesting.
Brandon Marshall, it's about to get
Love it,
How about with He never takes his hat off, ever. And Cody's hair isn't actually red. He washes it with fruit punch. Wow. Double ricochet off the left hand with a full second throws and get firm. And the Red Wings find themselves up 1-0. It's the movement now, ball.
it starts, it'll continue. Smith gets in there, and everybody gets involved. They hit from behind, and halfway pushes the back of the head of Smith. Try to go toe to toe.
The team is ready for you. Smart with your money. Switch today and get up to $400 when you open a Smart Smart account.